Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to Scatter Love Tarot. It's your girl coming at you with another pick a card reading. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And for anyone new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. Should these messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description box. It has everything you need, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member here on the channel. If you are truly new, we do things a lot differently here. So I suggest that you strap in, hang on, and you and I are going to find out together. Today we are doing your dragon spirit animal is trying to tell you something. I already rolled the dice. They picked which gemstone they wanted to go to. We're doing solar plexus energy today. So it was interesting that South Node came out twice for both the first pile and the second pile. I did not choose that. I just tossed the dice in, and that's exactly how they landed. And I thought that was awesome. We're going to be using the Dragon Path Oracle today by Caroline Mitchell. This is such a beautiful deck. I have used this deck to communicate with my passed on loved ones and to communicate with my own dragon team. And I absolutely love it. So let us hop to your prayer and we will get this reading underway. Okay. Okay, my beloved source, this prayer is for any and all who come onto this channel, whether it's for a moment's time or for the entire time. Today I ask that you open our hearts to the messages that we need to receive at this time. It's not about the messages that we want. This is all about the messages that we need. What it is that's going to help us take steps forward on our path. Ultimately, this is us taking back our power and remembering that we're the ones that have to do the work. We're the ones that have to show up, but sometimes that is very daunting, and it seems easier just to pass it back to you and to our spiritual team. So today I ask that you give us the courage we need in our hearts and give us the clarity we need within our minds so that we can take the steps forward ourselves, so that we can do what's necessary for us to move and make headway on our journey. There's a lot of things changing in the collective at this time. There's a lot of things that are happening around the world, and they can seem very scary, and they can seem like they're disconnecting us from that which is all good. But all of these things have a purpose, and all of these things have been pre-planned or are exactly what they need to be at the moment that they need to happen. So if those are what the things are that are bothering us, if those are what the things are that are holding us down or putting an anchor in our journey, help us to release that energy from our energetic fields and surrender that to you, knowing that you're going to handle it with care, with love, and with support. And may we surrender ourselves to you, knowing that you too are going to care, support, and handle us with the care that we deeply need in this time. As these words are spoken unto this tribe and upon this reading, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. Ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. Let me get that out of the way. Okay. Got some ash on the book over here. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and shuffle a few times here and see. So source, what is my collective's spirit, dragon spirit animal trying to tell them? What is the something that my collective's dragon spirit animal is trying to tell them? Okay, thank you. What is the message that my collective's dragon spirit animal is trying to tell them? For pile number 1, what Dragon Path Oracle card is going to help us better understand the message that their spirit dragon is trying to tell them? Okay, thank you. And for pile number 2, source, what Dragon Path Oracle card is going to help us better understand the message that pile number 2, spirit animal dragon is trying to tell them? Okay, thank you, right off the bat. And for pile number 3, source, what Dragon Path Oracle card is going to help us better understand the message that pile number 3's dragon spirit animal is trying to tell them? Okay, thank you. All right, on the bottom, we've got confidence coming out with number 6 here, finding balance, resolution, stability in harmony and peace, but also seeing ourselves through the eyes of unconditional love is so important at this time. There's been a lot of self-judgment going across the collective, a lot of self-harm, and just really putting ourselves in this place of expecting so much. And when we're not able to deliver on these ridiculous standards that we place on ourselves, feeling like we've completely failed, and that of course we would fail because that's who we are, we always fail, and that's actually not true. This is really playing havoc on our self-esteem and our self-confidence, and there's a message here to come back to this place of understanding how to empower ourselves, and a lot of that comes from giving ourselves grace and space to be a human, which means that we're flawed and that we're gonna make mistakes, and that's okay. So let's see what confidence has to tell us today. Okay. Says, you can call upon this dragon when your confidence has taken a knock, or when you feel you're unable to trust your judgment. He gives us the hope and the courage we need to carry on, encouraging us to dig deep and take the next step, and he will be beside us all the way, supporting us. Confidence is an awesome dragon to call upon and work with. Be warned, he can also be somewhat forthright and says, you can't sit there wallowing in self-pity. You have a job to do, so get on with it. He continues, you've also taken let's try that again. He continues, you also have a great many talents to tap into. You may have taken a few knocks and bruises along the way, and that is life. You possess infinite hidden abilities, and now is the time to explore them. Your lesson now is to learn to trust and follow your intuition, your gut feeling on what these are and what you should do. If you have no idea what the course of action is, ask for his guidance. But remember, he is not in any way fluffy. He will tell or show you what you need to know to put things in your path that you need to understand. Look for the lesson and realization in these things. From there, you will begin to develop and grow exponentially, both spiritually and personally. You'll find your way under his compassionate guidance. A part of what he teaches us is that we are all responsible for our own experiences. However painful or joyous they may be, we need to learn to live, love, forgive, heal, and move on. He is probably one of the toughest dragons I've yet encountered, yet paradoxically, he is gentle and caring. Tough love, I think it's called. Although a tough cookie, he does have a huge compassion for us. Remember that if you get a dragon style-y telling off from him. So he is definitely a rough rider, if you will, a little rough around the edges, but with a purpose. Sometimes we need that tough love because we're always looking for something that's very fluffy or gentle and kind with us, but we don't take sometimes that seriously, right? Someone's giving us something that's very sweet and gentle. It doesn't feel as urgent as when someone's telling us the truth in a very direct way. And it reminds us that, yeah, we really do need to get on to this. We really do need to work with this or heal this, or focus on letting go and surrendering to something that we would otherwise hold on to if a message is giving to us in a very sweet way. And so I do want to forewarn, with him coming out in the collective energy, that the message coming out across the board today may be a very direct message, but very necessary, which is what we were talking about with the prayer. All right, so let me get these set up really quickly here. Okay, so for pile number 1, we do have this beautiful piece of yellow jasper. Let me focus on that. There we go. Okay, we also have this dice with the south node. For pile number 2, we have this beautiful piece of yellow citrine. Okay, we have this dice with Pluto on it. And for pile number 3, we have this beautiful piece of tiger's eye. We have this dice with the south node on it. So we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Whichever pile you're drawn to, that should be the one for you, and I will see you over there. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful piece of yellow jasper, or if you were drawn to this dice with the south node on it, or if you're drawn to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be your reading on your dragon spirit animal is trying to tell you something. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and space with you. And for those of you that are new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And should these messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you're to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you are truly new here, we do things a lot differently here on this channel, so I suggest strapping in, hanging on, and you and I are going to find out together. I'm going to forewarn, because of the collective message in the beginning, that these may be very direct messages coming out, very blunt. So be that the trigger warning as we get into this, just so you know. So let's find out. Spirit, animal spirit dragon of pile number 1. What is it that you've been trying to tell them? So dragon spirit animal pile number 1, what is the something that you've been trying to tell pile number 1? Dragon spirit animal pile number 1, what is the something that you've been trying to tell pile number 1? Okay, so we've got Leo, we've got the 3rd house, and we've got Venus energy. Okay, I'm going to quickly mention this because I do when the 3rd house pops up. Okay, this could be in regards to those of you that might resonate with the twin flame journey. If not, that's okay. So this could be referring to what you've been experiencing with your twin flame on a personal level, but Also, for many of you, this is talking about something that you've gone through from the time you were a child and your early learning and what it is that you learned how to do. And really reconnecting with your inner child here in a beautiful way. We're going to focus on that. Okay. I'm going to actually zoom in on that. There we go. That's a lot better. Okay. So we're looking at something here that is, how are you going to attract the abundance that you want into your life? And your dragon spirit animal has been trying to tell you that the most important thing is to really reconnect with the joy and the expression of joy within you and the happiness that resides within the inner child, and letting that be what you rely on as you continue to move forward through your journey right now, because it's been stifled for so long and it has really impacted the way that you show up. There's this more reasonable explanation to show up from a place of logic rather than to show up from a place of wonder and magic. But your spirit animal dragon is trying to tell you that the most important thing is for you to visualize or view the world through that magic eye of the inner child once again. This is actually going to put you into a position where people are going to want your opinions. They're going to want your guidance. They're going to want to connect with you because you're going to be seen as a leader in that situation. And it might seem counterproductive, right? How am I supposed to be a leader when I'm coming from the inner child? But it's the inner child that gives you visionary status that helps you to really become magnetic to people who want to be in your energy, people who want to see you, finances being attracted to you, stability being attracted to you. This could be a new position. This could also be that style, that, you know, feeling good about yourself and how you're seeing yourself, and going and expressing yourself through art, expressing yourself through singing, expressing yourself through these different outlets that we have. And this is going to give you insight to intuitive guidance that you have not yet tapped into. It's not that you're not intuitive. You're absolutely incredibly intuitive, but this is something that is difficult for you. You've spent a lot of time stifling your inner child for fear that you're going to get hurt like that again. And this is that reminder that you, adult you now, can create a safe space for inner child you to come out and speak their piece. You're the one that's going to listen. You're the one that's going to help them. You're the one that's going to love them and accept them and appreciate them and support them the way that they've always needed. And that is going to open up your abilities to a whole new level. Okay, so let's get some cards on it and see what's coming through. I'm going to be using my original Tarot Marseille today, just so that we can really dig deep into these messages, especially considering that Confidence is the dragon that came through in the beginning, and Confidence is a pretty awesome dragon, but he's also very, very direct. So, Dragon Spirit Animal pile number 1, what are you trying to tell them? What is the something that you would like to tell pile number 1? Dragon Spirit Animal pile number 1, what is the something that you've been trying to tell pile number 1? Can you explain this further to us? There's a lot of repressed energy here. It feels like if I go down that hole of connecting with my inner child, I'm going to have to make a decision to open a door that I don't want to open. But opening that door is actually going to help open the floodgates, which is going to let you release. And yes, there will be emotions. Yes, there will be heartbreak. Yes, there will be hurt. But you're experiencing it for the sake of letting it go, not because it's happening again, which is where this safe space comes from. So, Dragon Spirit Animal pile number 1, what is the message, the something you've been trying to tell them? What is the something that you've been trying to tell pile number 1? Yeah, okay. So we've got the Sun coming out in the reverse and the Pope S here. I wasn't going to do 4 cards, but since they came out, I will take them. Again, this is what I was saying before we even look at the bottom of the deck. This is that energy of feeling lost and hopeless, and things aren't working out, and things are too much, too overwhelming for me to do what it is that I need to do. But it's about tapping into your intuition right now and letting the psychic abilities that you have and the intuitive feelings and the gut feeling even that you have lead you to what is good for you, right? We did do the yellow jasper here, and all the gemstones that they wanted for this reading had to do with the solar plexus. So we have the sun energy here, which connects with our solar plexus chakra as well, that taking action based on the gut feeling, which is something that is so vital for you at this time, pile number one. But I feel like it's been a struggle, and your dragon animal spirit has been trying to get this message to you, to remind you that there's a lot more beautiful things in life, but it's understandable as well because you've experienced such difficulties, you've experienced such hardships and very harrowing experiences. And it's like, after all those difficulties, how can I look at life through the eyes of a child? How can I see magic when all I feel like I've seen is destruction? And that might feel like the biggest burden of them all, but it is actually the one thing that's not as hard as it might seem to cross. The barrier is not as big as you're making it seem, or as big as your emotional ego is making it seem. Okay? And it's just reminding yourself it's okay to have fun, it's okay to play, it's okay to bring pleasure back into my life. It don't have to be this serious robot. That was never the intention of our lives. Look at this. We've got the Two of Cups on the bottom. Finding the things that you love again. And this absolutely could be pointing towards that relationship or soulmate that we were talking about, the twin flame energy. The Two of Cups for me is not the soulmate card in the Tarot Marseille. The Six of Cups now, that is the soulmate card for me in the Tarot Marseille. It's just a much deeper meaning of love. It is more stable, it is more substantial, and it is more powerful overall. But the Two of Cups really does talk about finding the things that we love again, and it can direct or point at a romantic interest coming in, but we're not going to focus on that today because I don't feel like that's the direction that the dragon spirit animal wants us to go in. But I do feel like there's something here that you're trying to really pour into again, and we've got a lot of twos coming out today, 222, but a lot of embracing the duality and integrating that shadow self within your journey. And the shadow self is the part of you that you're repressing. We do see it's the inner child that's been repressed here, and a need to really integrate that inner child on your journey. Let's see what else we've got here. Okay, so we've got the Three of Wands in the reverse. And I'm not surprised. Oftentimes when the sun comes out, the Four of Swords is not far behind it. They have very similar meanings. Just when the sun is in reverse and the Four of Swords. But the Four of Swords is really showing that this is something that you've been pressured into thinking. This is not really your thoughts that you're carrying, but it's a belief that you have accepted. And in accepting that, it has become an influence over your life. And with the Three of Wands here, we see there's manipulation at play here. So there's been somebody in your energy that's manipulated you, maybe as a child or even as a young adult here, or who is still manipulating you now and trying to get you to see things from their point of view. And you've been willing to look at life that way for a really long time, but there's also this feeling of really being disconnected from the journey itself, and really being disconnected from your purpose, and exhaustion that's at play here. And reading too deep into what another person thinks the journey should be, rather than finding and honing that. It's like sharpening your intuition is what I'm seeing, like sharpening the knife. Is sharpening your intuition and trusting what you're feeling. So if your gut is telling you that you need to do something that is out of character for you, but not dangerous, right? But just sending you somewhere new or doing something different for you, trusting that instead of going to everyone and asking, well, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Because chances are when you do that, people are really going to give you their own opinions based on their experience, not on the feeling that you received. And that's why it's misleading, because it's not like they're trying to be difficult for you, or they're not trying to give you a hard time. Yes, we do see manipulation, but the manipulation in this sense is that people are going to manipulate you based on their own viewpoints. So they're going to say, no, you shouldn't do that because I know somebody over here who tried that and they failed really bad. And that's a manipulation of sorts. It's not that it's malicious, right? It's not, but it's just them putting negativity into your life rather than putting it back onto you and saying, hey, pile one, what do you feel like you should do? Because ultimately that is the only question that we should ever ask another person when they're looking for our opinion. It's because our opinion doesn't really matter so much for another person's life. But most people are in this viewpoint that my opinion is what's going to lead someone to the right or wrong answer. And that's not true, because only your intuition can lead you to the right or wrong answer. And that's what your spirit dragon, or your animal spirit dragon has been trying to tell you. But there's also, I feel like, someone here that maybe has manipulated you from a young point or young time, like when you were a young time. Okay, has manipulated you from when you were a child and making you believe that things have to be A, B, C, X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Singing it's do, re, mi, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, baby, 2 and me now. I think that's how it goes. I don't know. We're just going to go with it. But yeah, it's not that easy, is it? It's not. And while they might try to paint the pictures it's that easy, what you're beginning to see is that there's a lot of challenges that are coming up, and mostly the biggest one is feeling this disconnection from your own inner hope, your own inner light, and your own inner journey. And so your dragon is trying to remind you to come back to that place, that quiet space within, and trust your intuition. You're far more connected than you're giving yourself credit for here, pile one. And to trust that intuition is going to lead you down the right path. No, they're not going to come in and tell you what you should do, but they will give you the options available to you so that you, as a human with free will, can choose what you feel is best for you. But the minute that you give that away to someone else, you're giving someone else power over you. And I feel like your dragon has been trying to remind you of your own internal power. This could very well be with the twin flame journey as well. This could very well be with a parent or sibling in your life. This could be with various things that you've thought about or how you view life in general, and you're sharing that with others and asking for their opinion. Do you feel like I'm right or wrong? But it really does feel like this is a thought process that you're holding on to, and you're allowing other people to mold it for you instead of listening to your intuition. What is your intuition telling you? And I'm gonna be honest with you, because they just showed me that the reason you don't want to ask your intuition is because you're afraid of what your intuition is going to tell you, because you've already gotten a gut sense and it's not what you want to hear. It's not what you want to know. But remember, our intuition and our guides and our higher self even is not in the business of putting things in front of us that we want or want to hear, want to know. It is in the business of leading us to our truth. And that comes with some difficult messages for us, because our emotional ego has painted this massive picture of this is how things are supposed to be. And Spirit says, well, that's nice, that's beautiful and all, but Source is over here reminding us that this is really the way that things are. And that's really hard to take on when our emotional ego has become prevalent on our journey. So especially, and I'm just going to use this as the example of you resonate with being a twin, okay? And for those of you that don't, this is just for those of you that do, okay? We're going to get out of this really quickly here, but for those of you that are being a twin, it's like, well, it has to happen XYZ. Like, I do the healing, then the masculine does their healing, and then we come together in union. It seems simple, right? It's easy as 1, 2, 3. But for those of us that have been on this journey for any amount of time, we have long since realized that there's so much more to it than those things. And it actually comes down to our connection with the divine, and that's why your dragon spirit animal is here reminding you to reconnect with your intuition. For those of you that are in this place of really letting logic outwin the spiritual side of yourself, it's because everybody in your life has said, well, logic is always the one thing that makes sense. But when we're connecting spiritually, logic really doesn't have a part to play in a spiritual sense, because oftentimes our spiritual journey will lead us places that seem completely illogical and upside down and turned around backwards from what we would normally put ourselves into. And that's why. So regardless of where you're at on your journey, this is saying that it's time for you to come back to that intuition. It's time for you to trust that intuition. Stop reading so much into what other people are trying to tell you, or even how people are trying to manipulate you, and come back to what you feel is best for you, because you're the only one with your intuition, and you're the only one that can help guide yourself to what's right for you. Okay, so I guess you're getting 3 of these. They all fell out. I'll take them. We've got Capricorn energy on the bottom here. Ambition, realism, and methodical steps. All in good time with this energy coming up. And tough love is interesting because Capricorn's connected with Saturn, and Saturn is the energy of tough love. And confidence is the dragon that came through in the beginning. Right here. In case you didn't catch the collective energy message. But confidence is a very tough love sort of dragon. And so that's just reminding you that this is a tough love part of your journey, which is sometimes very difficult to embody and embrace, because it goes back to that. It's what we need to hear, and it's oftentimes not what we want to hear. And so we're reluctant to embrace the messages that we're receiving because it's not what we want. It's what we need. And that's okay. That's human of us. So the golden Christed dragon here brings you to a higher love so that you can embody the Christ light. Why do I hear that song? Bring me a higher love. Oh, oh, yeah. It says, absorb the Christ light. You are protected, and expand your heart and remain in the 5th dimension. So you've already ascended many levels, but this is that reminder to come into that Christ consciousness, which is seeing all things from a place of unconditional love and seeing the truth behind the illusion, and not letting the illusion be what absorbs our energy in time and space. We have the golden orange dragon. Expand your light for ascension. Be a peaceful warrior. Help those in need, and remember your magnificence. So this is absolutely, and see, like the book here, writing in the book with the Popess here, remembering that you're very connected here, and that you have ascended, and you're coming into another ascension. Ascensions never stop. Like, we always gain more information, more clarity, we move up. So we're always moving on this journey. There's always this progression that we're having. And then there sometimes feels like we have a digression and so on and so forth. But they're reminding you here that it's important for you to see your own magnificence. We've got Ire and Othala. Strive for divinity in your words, thoughts, and deeds, and shape your life according to your desires. The magic required for this is entering your life now. And didn't I say that earlier with the magic? They want you to see your life again through the eyes of a child with magic and wonder. Yeah. So, and this is opening up to the Earth Star. I think it's called the Earth Star chakra. And also opening up your heart chakra as well. And then we've got Venus, again, Venus energy, and Diamchanen. With the beauty of love lies in its wildness. Be daring and embark upon journeys with your dragon. Love is something that eludes us because we want to capture it. We want to put it in a box. We want it to be how we paint the picture of love to be. But love is free. And to be free means that we have to let it go. And to let it go means to potentially let go something that we have otherwise convinced ourselves that it's ours to have. And ultimately, letting it go means to surrender to it. If it's ours, it will come back to us. But it's not, we don't have a right to box it in, because all that's doing is creating pain and agony for ourselves on our journey. So we've got envy that flipped over here. It says, I am the same as everybody, but with different challenges. Exactly. So everybody that's on this journey, we're all experiencing hardships. We're all experiencing heartbreak. We're all experiencing very, very difficult things. And if there's another person that's involved with your reading, or someone else that has been maybe manipulating you, or what you feel like is hurting you, and it's just this reminder that sometimes it's easier to put the shoe on the other foot, so that we can remember that we're all both the two sides of the same coin, right? So you might be heads and this person might be tails, and vice versa. But if all you're saying is heads is the only thing that can exist, you're never allowing yourself to see the viewpoint of tails when tails is face up. Why is that? Because it's difficult for us to see behind the scenes of another person's life. But we do have a lot of this solar plexus chakra coming in, and the action lies in allowing ourselves to see that we're all on this journey together. We're all on this journey trying to figure it out the best that we can. It's not like somebody came down here and left us a Life for Dummies book, because they sure as heck didn't. And many of us struggle. In fact, most of us are struggling, and no one has it all together, but it's easy to think that someone does. So comparing yourself to others, or saying that because someone manipulated me, they're not the same as me, it's actually just the illusion. Everything in life is love. When we come back to that statement, when we come back to that truth, we see that underlying this person's emotional ego is still a being of unconditional love, but they've got a lot of baggage and dirt and garbage that's covering all that up. And so we're seeing the filter of them through all that stuff. And we're also seeing ourselves through the filter of all that's weighing on our own souls. And when we allow ourselves to see that, it allows ourselves to come back to this truth and reconnect with the truth of our own divinity. On the bottom, failure. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. Did I not say in the beginning that, like, we're all flawed? That's to be human. We're all flawed. I feel like I said that on your reading at the very beginning. If I didn't, then that's okay. But I feel like that came out. It's interesting because I'm so present. Like, it's sometimes the message is very clear. It's very repetitive and I see it very clearly. But other times I'm like, wait, did I say that? Or is that just another confirmation of you wanting me to say that, you know? So... But it's just remembering that we're all human. We all make mistakes. And I feel like that goes hand in hand with this envy card. What we were saying is that it's easy to judge someone when we're the ones that were hurt, because we don't want to see their pain, because we're only holding on to our pain. And this is a reminder that in order for us to relieve ourselves of what once was repressed, we have to observe both sides of it. In order for us to experience joy and happiness, we have to see both sides of it. And a child is actually more free to look at both sides of a situation than an adult is, because they're not seeing it from years and years and years of being jaded. It doesn't mean it hurts less as a child. It means that they're more forgiving as a child. And so coming back to that childlike innocence is going to free you from the identity of an emotion that you've been holding on to here. 7th house, make a commitment. Okay, so we are talking about relationships here. Okay, we are talking about maybe there's someone you want a commitment with. If this is a twin, this is someone you want to commit to. This is someone you feel like you have to have in your life. And what your animal spirit dragon is trying to tell you here is that it's not about what you want. It's about the possibilities in life But if we're only putting it in a box, it has to be this person, it has to be this person, and it has to happen in this way, we're stifling the creative flow of source energy coming through us. And we're saying, you don't know it like I do. But source created us, so source has a better idea of what's going to happen than we do. We have to trust that process. Look, oh my gosh, I just said that. We have to trust that process, and this is on the bottom of the deck. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for that, source. Thank you so much, animal, dragon, spirit, animal. Well, I can promise you I can talk. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Jupiter, yeah, grow and expand. This is all about your spiritual growth here. And this is not something that's easy either. It feels very difficult. It's like we reach points, pinnacles in our spiritual journey where we're now like, no, I'm going to resist this one for a while. Why? Because it's one that keeps coming back that we keep resisting, but we kind of chip away at it a little every time. And so this is one now where it's like you're being faced with this, and it's been very difficult to absorb or to receive because it's asking you to do something that you otherwise would never have done. And it's not that it's dangerous for you. It just feels like it's losing something else on the journey, but not seeing that there's possibly something that's even better aligned for you. We have, sextile. Look, a combination of tension and flow, potential and a rewarding situation, and solar plexus chakra coming through as well here. Okay, so opening up to that potential of life is so important for your journey. And this is what your dragon animal spirit has been trying to get to. Your dragon spirit animal has been trying to get to you. Like, we've got the 7th house again. Profound relationships, intimacy, and romantic partnerships. Okay, so I did not want to focus on it being a twin flame, which is why I mentioned it at the beginning, but this is someone that you feel like is a soulmate. Does not have to be a twin flame. If you don't know what that is, please don't go down that rabbit hole. Please don't. But for those of you that are on the twin flame journey, for those of you that are on the soulmate journey even, it's just as a reminder that when we're telling source it has to be the way that we see it or the way that everyone else is telling us it has to be, ABC, it's easy as 1, 2, 3, right? It's not as easy as 1, 2, 3. There's so much more that's going on behind the scenes. We have Venus again. A lot of repeat messages here. Attracting abundance. You are in this place of attracting great growth and abundance into your life right now. This could be finances as well. But letting go of holding on to things in a specific way because other people have told you this is the way that it has to go. Trusting your intuition. And I just want to point out, I've talked about this on my podcast before, but with the twin flame journey, it's difficult because you have a whole group of people that are telling us that we're meant to end up with them, that we're meant to have them in our lives, that we're meant to have this great relationship with them, that it's always going to be this huge sexual energy, and yet no one stops to talk about the potentials that we might not end up with them because they might not be a person that we can end up with. Right? And I talk about that in greater detail on my podcast. I don't want to go into it here because it is very deep. But it's this reminder that only a fool thinks that they know everything. And so if we're listening to people who say, I know this is what it is, I know this is what it is, but they're not with their twin, or they're manipulating people into thinking that they are with their twins, we're forgetting something that is vital to our energy, which is listening and trusting our own intuition. Look at this. First quarter moon. Face those obstacles. And we were talking about the integration between the shadow and the light. Facing these obstacles and facing this part of yourself. And I feel like that's why it's like, no, I'd just rather put this and trust everyone else and what they're telling me, because in your heart of hearts, you know exactly what your intuition is going to tell you. But because it may not be the popular opinion as to what everyone else is saying, it's just easier to put it on the back burner, put it on the back burner, put it on the back burner. Maybe it's with the relationship that you have. This doesn't have to be a twin flame. This could be with the relationship that you currently have or have had. And it's like understanding it at a deeper level here. And it's saying like, if you're listening to all these other people and not trusting what your intuition is telling you, you're only doing yourself a disservice, pile number one. And that is what your dragon spirit animal has been trying to tell you. Rest. This has been a very trying time for you. Okay? To rest, to trust in the process and rest. You've done so much. But to start really integrating these two parts, these two sides of yourself, you do have to sit back and allow the integration process to happen. Okay, I'm going to take a look at your card. I'm going to read this from the book. We've got the Philosopher here with 20, and look at what's in the background. Oh my gosh, that's Saturn. What? Oh, Lord. And the philosopher, let's just read it. Let's just read it. Before I even get into it, let's just read it because this is such a great dragon that came out on yours. I love this. And we think about that, right? The philosopher is the one always asking questions, is not satisfied with just the answer that everyone else gives them, is the one that's going to go and seek the truth. This wise old dragon is all about learning and the direction our life is taking. This can be in our 3D physical world or on a metaphysical level. He shows up when you've been considering taking up any kind of study, a return to or continuation of formal education, as well as personal or spiritual nature. He came in with a strong connection to Galileo and the planets, the solar system, mathematics, and science. He says one is never too old or young to learn. Set your sights and reach for the stars, for you have much to gain and to reveal with your learning partners. He has a particular affinity with the stars and constellations and is often associated with people learning the old arts, such as astrology, scrying, or divination, as well as the sciences. He goes on to say, you've been putting off that which you want to learn. Your self-doubt hinders your true path and that which excites you. Your affinity to the old arts is the opening of your journey. Take this as notice that you should follow that which you seek with your heart, for only then will you truly tread the steps of your destiny. His presence is to help us navigate our world in our chosen direction. He becomes our compass, our guiding star, when we are at a great loss of what comes next. Call upon his presence to help you navigate your way forward. And it's on page 44, and it's the 20 card. Oh my gosh, I love this. And we're talking about 222 coming through, and you got 20 here, which is 2, trusting the process. And this feels like going even deeper, right? There's this doubt that's coming through, like doubting the journey or doubting your ability to trust yourself, doubting to dig deeper within your own intuition when it comes to your journey alone, pile number 1, whatever that may be. And your dragon, the philosopher here, has been trying to reconnect you with what is written in the stars for your path, which is not what everyone else says it is. It's what you feel is right for you, and you can gain that guidance by trusting your intuition. Okay, wow, this was an incredible, incredible message. So this is what I see here for you. If you felt like this was your reading, I believe there is a Saturn emoji, if I'm not mistaken. So leave the Saturn emoji down below and say, I choose to do the tough part and listen to my intuition instead of allowing everyone else to guide me based on their opinions. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, check out that description box. You'll find everything you need, including how to get a personal reading with me, as well as how to join as a member here on the channel. With that, I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, my spirit guides, and a special shout out to your dragon spirit animal for coming through. And until next time, pile number 1, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful citrine, if you were drawn to this dice with Pluto on it, or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be your reading on your dragon spirit animal is trying to tell you something. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time in this space with you. And for anybody new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together. and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And should these messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. If you are truly new here, I do want to say we do things differently here on this channel. So I suggest strapping in, hanging on, and you and I are going to find out together. So with that, let's hop to it and find out. Dragon, Spirit, Animal, pile number 2. What is this something you've been trying to tell pile number 2? Dragon, Spirit, Animal, pile number 2. What is this something that you've been trying to tell pile number 2? Okay, so we have the 10th house. We've got Venus energy and we've got Sag energy here. Okay. There's been a lot of discipline that you put towards something. It's growing. It is growing. I feel like there's a lot of doubt here for you, pile number 2. Like, I know it's growing, but it's growing so slow. Like, how much slower can you get? Well, you know, it could get a lot slower. It could get a lot slower, but they want you to know that it is growing. And I feel like the thing is that you're questioning whether or not this is what you're meant to be doing because of how slow it's going. There's this underlying feeling of like rushing to an end result and trying to get there as fast as you can, and feeling like this is just a burden at how slowly things are going and how long it's taking things to unfold. But your dragon spirit animal is trying to remind you that any growth is good growth. And if you love what you're doing and you're putting forth the energy and the effort, you're going to thank yourself for not giving up, because it's going to make a difference on down the line. Eventually, you're going to see the abundance rolling in from this. And it does feel very financial. This feels like gaining financial security, maybe financial freedom for some of you, but great growth. I'm not sure what a growth is, but okay. Great growth, great abundance, and really allowing things to unfold here is the process. And trusting that it takes time, it takes discipline, it takes hard work, it takes you showing up. And this is what your dragon spirit animal has been trying to tell you. Because right now I feel like you're ready to throw in the towel. I feel like you're ready just to give up. It's been a long time. Things aren't working. They're not going anywhere fast. And I thought that this was going to be something that was going to roll in, you know, rolling on the river. Why is this song coming through right now? Rolling. What is that, Tina Turner? Yeah. I always think about when she's dancing. That's what they were showing me right now, is when she's dancing, and she's dancing really fast, like she's moving her feet really fast. But it kind of is a weird conundrum, because she's dancing really fast, but when we're rolling on the river, like, we're just letting the river carry us. And that's exactly what they want you to do, is let the river carry you. Don't try to manipulate the river's current. And I feel like that's where you're at. It's like, I'm ready to manipulate the river's current. I'm ready just to throw it in, because nothing seems to be working. And they're saying, no, it's working. It's just that what you're building is much bigger than you might have initially imagined, because it's in alignment with your journey. And there's a lot of transformation that's coming. I believe you had Pluto on your dice. So there's that transformation that's coming into your life. And that can oftentimes feel like we're not doing the right thing, when in reality, we're allowing space for the new to come in, right? Look, I split the deck. We have the 5 of coins and the Chariot here. There's big changes coming, and there's going to be something that spiritually aligns with you in the form of a victory, or in the form of getting your way. Integration, being centered and overcoming something. Making headway. So you're making progress. And maybe it's not as fast as you want it to be, right? So say you started work with a new company and you made a promise to yourself that within the first 2 years you were going to get a raise and a promotion, and it's been 3.5 years and you haven't gotten a raise or a promotion, and you're like, holy moly, I've done everything that everybody's asked of me. I've put in the effort. Like, I'm so sick of this. I still feel like I'm at the bottom. I still feel like what I do doesn't matter. And they're saying, like, hold on, because it does matter. It's something that you're building, and that when you get there, you're going to realize it was worth it. So in the essence of, they're showing that because you're the one that's showing up and working so hard, you matter to the company. And the company is one day going to look at you and say, like, wow, you've really done all of this. You showed up, you worked, you put your head down and you grinded. And now we're not just giving you a promotion, but we're like taking you up 10 steps in the company. We're going from supervisor to like head manager or something like that, right? So it is worth it what you're doing, but it's something big that you asked for. It could be you building your own business and waiting for clients to come in, a better stream of clients coming in, and they're saying, just enjoy the time right now, because soon you're going to be having so many clients, you're going to need to hire people, okay? And that's what they're saying. It's just really enjoy what you're doing right now, being present with it. Things are shifting for you. There's a big change that's coming, but there's no rushing it here. So animal spirit, dragon spirit animal pile number 2. What more would you like to tell them today? Okay, thank you. I feel like your perseverance and your consistency is definitely going to be rewarded in a way that you're not even expecting. That's what it feels like. It feels like they want to surprise you with something big, and you're going to be so glad. But if you throw in the towel, and I feel like that's the other thing too, pile 2, is if you throw in the towel, you're always going to wonder, did I do it too soon? And that feeling of doing it too soon is also an intuitive nudge. It feels like you're feeling it in your gut. Like, I don't want to leave too soon because I do know there's potential here. And, you know, obviously if you're miserable in a place, this is not your message. I don't feel like. I'm just saying, you know, if you're miserable where you're at, it's just feeling like, you know, you need to do something, trust your intuition. Or if you're miserable with where you're at and you're trying to build a side hustle, and you've been waiting for the side hustle to take off so that you can leave what you're doing, you know, what is your intuition telling you is what I keep hearing. What is your intuition telling you? And I know that's so hard to trust sometimes, but it's going to be different. I can't say for you, pile 2, that yes, your intuition is telling you, take the leap, let go of what's not, you know, where you're miserable at, and then jump into what you're doing, because everybody's situation is going to be different, right? That's why it's so important for you to listen to your intuition, especially since this is not a personal reading. Yeah, we've got a lot of negativity that's surrounding you right now. I do feel like this is self-negativity, like doubt, worry. You know, it makes me think of that line from Fast 6 where he says, all that negativity is going to eat you alive, man. And it is. It's eating you alive. It's creating a lot of doubt on your journey. It's creating a lot of worry, unnecessary worry, and feeling like you're not going to attain what it is that you set out to attain. And really you are. You're making headway here. But it does feel like the emotional ego has its role to play in your journey. And yeah, there's worry about money with the Ace of Coin in the reverse, the Queen of Wands in the reverse. Okay. Ooh, yeah. Look at this. We got a fine pair here. Okay, so this is a lot clearer here. We've got a situation worrying about money. All right, the number one thing here is worrying about financial stability, financial status. Also the ability to take care of what you need to take care of, like making sure your bills are paid, food on the table, clothes on your back, you know, heat, air conditioning, whatever it is that is essential for you, okay? There's a worry about that. You know, and concern that, I'm not trying to be too greedy here. I'm not trying to be overtly concerned with my finances, but it is a huge concern for you. Money makes the world go round. We get that. Of course, we know on this journey, it's not all about the money, but we can't also deny the fact that money is what makes this world tick. It's what makes this world work. But we see here with the Queen of Wands at the center of your reading, there is someone here that's pressuring you to have a certain amount of money. This could be a spouse. This could be a parent. This could be a roommate. This could be someone in your family. This could be someone in your friends group. Or this could be someone where maybe you and them are all trying to keep up with the Joneses and you haven't been able to keep up with the Joneses like that, or you've been trying to, only to put yourself further into debt. Okay? With the King of Wands right next to this Queen of Wands in the reverse, we see this self-sabotage. Okay? Self-sabotage is actually the process of thinking that this person or this situation has control over you, when in reality it does not. Okay, you have control over you. Maybe not the situation, but you, Pile 2, have control over you. And that's what your dragon spirit animal has been trying to tell you, is that when you re-empower yourself and recognize the work you're doing is worthwhile, and the fact that you're showing up with integrity and honor and honesty, that is all worthwhile. Do you see value in yourself? Because you can't ask another person to see value in what you're doing if you don't see it. The hiccup, all of a sudden, random. So they're saying here that it's important, it's vital for you to see value. And if someone is holding money over your head, and it doesn't have to be money, but it does feel like this is finances here. The Queen of Wands, she's an interesting character. She has a problem with authority. She's very cruel and ruthless when she's setting down rules. She's trying to control. She's the one that's trying to lead everyone and pretend that she's the one that's in charge when she's really not. And that's what it feels like here. But there's also this essence of the finances coming through, especially with the Ace of Coin and her together. It's somebody here who only sees money. So their only motivation is money. And so example would be is if you have an Etsy side hustle. Okay, just say you create things and you put things on Etsy. And I know this is very specific, but hang with me. Okay, you're selling things on Etsy, but they're not selling as fast as you would like. You sell things here and there. And you're starting to get your name out, and you might get a couple more sales one month, and the next month maybe you get 1 or 2 sales, and you're like, oh, I thought I was doing better. Like, what the hey is going on? And this person is like, you're taking all this time, all this energy, and all this effort to try to be on Etsy and selling things on Etsy, and it's not going anywhere, and it's just a waste of your time. Because this person is only driven by the dollar. Okay, so if they're not seeing a profit in what you're doing, they're automatically going to write it off. That doesn't mean that what you're doing doesn't have value, and it doesn't mean that what you're doing isn't going to be profitable. We see here that your dragon spirit animal is trying to tell you that it is profitable, but it is a slow profit. There's so many people think that, like, if you go to build your own business, so many people have this idea in their mind that if you don't go from the red to the black in 2 months, it's completely worthless. It's not worth your time. Last time I checked, it takes a long time to build substantial customers, clientele, and stability when you're building a business. It doesn't matter what type of business it is. Even when you're building a name for yourself within a company, that takes time. That takes resources. That takes learning about the business itself. You've done so much of that. But there's someone or a situation, this could be a situation, but it does feel like someone here that is surrounding you with negativity and like pressuring you. And I feel like this is someone who it wouldn't be beside them to get other people to try to make you feel bad about what it is that you're doing. And it could be in a very passive-aggressive way. So, like, they're just saying things when you're around. Oh, pile 2's here. You know, it's like this thinking, oh, since pile 2's here. Well, so anyways, so-and-so went and got a job over here, and they're finally making enough to pay for their bills, and they're not wasting their time on Etsy. And they're not saying your name, but they're doing it in a very passive-aggressive way. You know what I mean? That's what this person might do. That's what these people might do. And that's creating a lot of doubt for you because it's like, I put so much time and energy into this. Maybe you've been on Etsy for 4 years and you're like, what the heck? Like, You know, I thought I did everything necessary. I took the steps, I took the classes, I learned how to market myself, I made some cards, I got word of mouth out there, I do personal touches in my gifts. Like, I don't know what else I can do. And they're saying just wait, allow it to permeate. You're in a cultivation period right now. And it doesn't have to be Etsy. This is just the example they're using today. So apply that to your situation however it fits. But remembering that whatever it is that you're putting your time and resources to, it is going to blossom. But if you allow other people to determine how you feel about you, you're not winning. You're letting them decipher what you should do with your time. And that's not fair to you, Pile 2, especially when you're getting an intuitive guide or an intuitive nudge to do something like what you're putting your efforts towards. You've been disciplined, you've been showing up, you've been doing the hard work. Just because other people don't see value in it doesn't mean that it's not of value. That's not your business to worry about what everyone else sees it as. It's only your business to see it as you see it. And we see here with the King of Wands in the reverse that this is something that's creating a lot of self-sabotage because it's affecting the way that you think about yourself. And so your dragon spirit animal has been trying to get this to you, but when you're in a low vibration of not seeing your value and your self-worth, it's very difficult for these high vibrational beings to come in and to contend with that low vibrational energy until you allow yourself a moment of stillness to raise your own vibration and to ground yourself again so that you can receive these messages. And I feel like that's why it's been really hard for them to get this message to you, because every time you do get in a high vibration, maybe this person recognizes that you're feeling good about yourself and boom, here they come in with this passive aggressive energy, or getting others to do it as well. Whatever it is, it's like let this person do whatever they're gonna do. You don't have to put up with it, but you also don't, like, if all you're doing is worrying about it, then that's time and energy away from your projects. That's time and energy away from what's serving you. We have House 12 flipping over here: spirituality, transcendence, karma, sacrificial service, and healing. So you're healing something here, but you're also dealing with karma from the past or a past life. And when I say karma, it's not that you did anything bad. This is you healing something that's been holding on to you for a long time. And when we're healing that, we're dealing with situations that are gonna trigger that into us focusing on healing that, focusing on facing that part of ourselves. And that's when we talk about karma, it's hard because it's like, I didn't do anything bad to earn this. And it's not about earning it. It's about you reliving childhood wounds and patterns over and over again, and patterns you might not know about. We talked about that repression in the beginning, and that's what it's saying. If it's repressed, there has to be a trigger to bring that to the forefront, to bring that to our conscious mind. Fixed energy with Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Stability, persistence, loyalty, and dependability. Where are you going to focus your energy? And I feel like reminding yourself why it matters for you to focus your energy on the things that you're doing. Why does this matter to you? Why did you choose to go down this path? Reiterating why it was important to you is going to help you solidify the value of that as well. Look at this. We've got the black dragon from Saturn. Brings you wisdom through spiritual discipline. Concentrate. Focus on your ultimate vision. Congratulate yourself. You've passed a test. Yeah. This has been a tough love lesson. And it's interesting. I also had a similar message of tough love coming out in pile number 1, a different situation altogether. But confidence is a dragon that came out in the collective reading. And so I'm not surprised that Saturn is making an appearance in this reading. It wouldn't surprise me if it came out in all 3 readings, to be honest with you, because confidence is a very blunt, very forward dragon with a very tough message for us, but for our highest good. It's what we need to hear. But I feel like this is the main thing here that your dragon spirit animal has been trying to convey, is focus on your ultimate vision, not what everyone else's vision or lack thereof is. What is your vision, pile number 2? And why does that matter to you? What is the meaning behind that? Learning that about yourself can be so empowering, and it can help you heal on a much deeper level, and it can help you realize that when people like this show up, they're just doing it because they're not wanting to face their own insecurities or their own lack mindset. We've got Landa and Clarita on the bottom. Number 20. Life on Earth is a heroic journey. Mastering the visible and the earthly is as important as mastering the invisible and the mystic. And right now, it's not about mastering the earthly for you as much as it is about mastering the mind, mastering the spiritual energy that you're coming in. Okay, because the more you're in a low vibrational negative energy, the less you feel better about yourself. And when you're not feeling good about yourself, it is hard for us to manifest anything in life. So this is about mastering that part of yourself that's constantly putting you in a state of worry, of feeling like you're a failure, feeling like you're not good enough, and coming back to that place of knowing that you are enough in this moment. Look at what flew. It flew out of this deck. We have purpose. I know what I am here to do. Okay, so you're walking in your purpose. You know exactly what you want to do. Just because other people don't understand it, guess what? It's not their purpose. That's okay. They're not meant to understand it because you're meant to understand it. You're the only one that matters here, pile 2. Humor on the bottom. I choose to focus on the lighter side of life. So again, not taking this so seriously, not taking everyone else so seriously. It's like when they say, oh, well, at least I don't spend my time wasting on Etsy. You could just laugh about it, you know? Or if you really want to come back with something, be like, oh, that's funny, because last time I checked, there's plenty of people who are completely successful on it. And I'm so glad that I freed myself from the mentality that I have to live an everyday construct thinking that I have to be like everyone else. Man, isn't life just a joy, right? Not being serious about it, not trying to hurt them, but just being real about it. Sometimes you have to hit them with that. You know, it's not about being cruel. I feel like everybody's like, oh, I gotta be mean to them. It's an eye for an eye. No, it's not. This is not an eye for an eye. But it is okay to hit people with the truth. Not with the truth of the intention of hurting someone, but with the truth of reminding them that you're allowed to live your life the way that you want. But also bringing some humor to it as well. You know, go home and laugh about it. Wow, they really think that they have a control on me. That's so funny because no one can control me but me. I'm so glad about that, right? Finding the lighter side of things. We have the Coeli. I think it's Coeli. Look, make peace with the past. So maybe this is past situations coming up, but I do feel like this is a confirmation that I was saying this is a childhood wound that's been playing over and over and over again. You maybe had parents who expected you to be a certain way or to do certain things. And that's been something that's been very difficult for you to heal, been difficult for you to forgive, but more importantly, it's been difficult for you to just let go of because it hurts. It's like, you can't trust me to make my own decisions for myself. You can't trust me to live my own life. And so something that keeps coming back, you know, my grandparents were always ones that told my brother and I exactly what we had to be doing. And if we chose to do things other than what my grandparents had planned for us or what they thought was best for us, then we were basically not given love, right? Like, we were oftentimes chastised or we were cast aside. And I actually had this conversation with a family member not too long ago about my brother. My brother, I was a people pleaser too, but that just irritated me on a level that I couldn't get down with. But my brother wanted to fit in so badly that he chose to do that. And he chose to be the puppet that they were trying to make him to be. And they loved my brother and they exalted my brother and they always did nice things for my brother because everything that my grandparents said was gold with my brother. And that really hurt me as a child because not only was I getting chastised for feeling differently about my life, I was also knowingly being put in a position where I was shown I was not appreciated in any one way, shape, or form. And that was very difficult for me to let go of. And I can honestly say, even on this journey, even on the spiritual journey, it was very hard for me to let go of. It was very hard for me to say I forgive them for what they did. But finally, I understood where they were coming from, and I understood the type of energy that they were in. And I realized that that was all they knew how to do, because they were trying their best to make sure that my brother and I had a life that they didn't. And that was the only way that they could do it, was by trying to control our outcomes. And I can appreciate that, even though it's exhausting and frustrating. But making peace with that has been one of the most freeing things that I've done, because it helped me recognize I don't have to hold on to that anymore. And even if my grandma passed away, and like even if my grandma were able to tell me like that again, I would be able to stand up and say, I know I appreciate your viewpoint on that, but that's just not where I'm at. And I'm okay with that. And if you're not, that's great, because that's your business. That's not my business anymore. But I'm not mad about it anymore. It used to make me so mad just to think about it. Like my heart would be racing and pounding, and so that's what it feels like your dragon spirit animal is trying to tell you. There's something here that makes your heart race. It makes you just so frustrated and so mad, like but it's also putting you in a space of sabotaging yourself, because instead of focusing on your journey, you're focusing on what these people are saying to you, or the energy that they're casting onto you. And that's not where you need to be at. You need to just be focusing on you and focusing on what works for you, okay? We have the sun. Look at this. Exactly. Go out there and shine. Shine as bright as you can. Blind them all with... They can't even look at you because you're so bright. We have shine, sparkle, and steal the spotlight, pile number 2. Let your light shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Right? And that other song that's, I think it's in the Croods, Shine Your Way. Shine, 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 shine your way. Right? Who cares? Who cares? Your life is yours to live, pile number 2. And everybody in our lives are gonna have something to say about it, because they really believe that they know best for us, okay? And unfortunately, they don't. They only know what feels safe for them. And usually if someone's telling us they know what's best for us, they're coming from a place of fear and anxiety. And that is not where we need to be coming from. Especially on a journey that's meant for us, we need to be embracing love, because love is going to allow us to open up to the possibilities. My mom was given, when she was diagnosed with cancer, and before she passed away, she was given this sign by one of her friends. And it says, faith makes things possible, not easy. And that's in the bathroom. We still have it. It's in the bathroom. But it was just one of those things that reminds us that it's not meant to be an easy journey, even though the steps getting there are simple. But if we expand our hearts to love and faith and the freedom to be ourselves, it's possible, and anything is possible. Oh my gosh, look at that. Fear on the bottom of the deck. Don't let the fear of others, what they're thinking or their fear, don't let them project that onto you. And that's something that has been happening for some time for you, pile number 2. And that's what your dragon has been trying to help you. We got that. That is so synchronistic to just the 5 of Swords here. This energy, the fear has been playing a huge part. Look, and I cannot make that up. Surrender. Look at this. Surrender to love. Wow. Isn't that what I was just talking about? Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Source. Thank you so much, animal, dragon, spirit, dragon, animal, spirit, however you want to be said. Whatever, you're coming through. Thank you, dragon. Thank you, dragon. Right? So don't let fear win. Surrender to love and open our hearts up to a deeper love here. Look, Pluto came out in your reading. You chose the Pluto dice, and here Pluto is saying, yep, that was meant to be there. It's time for transformation, to transform your energy and allow positivity, trust, and faith to take over here. Lilac Fire Dragon, look at this, transmutes through the power of divine love. Wow. Open up to the transcendent love and enlightenment. Purity of heart brings peace, hope, and joy. A lot of connecting with your crown chakra energy here as well. Letting source, letting your angels, letting your guides, letting your dragon, spirit animal be a guide for you. Not to do the work for you, but to help guide you to where you're meant to go. Look at this, all this purple that's coming through here. We have Aradnia and Nice. Aradnia has spoken. Your inner servitude is over. Your beliefs and dependence are melting away. I'm awakening the magic that will free you. Know that freedom begins in thoughts. We were talking about that. Woo! Thank you so much. I love this. Okay, and we've got full moon. All is being revealed. So the truth is going to come out here, okay? And it's going to be something that helps set you free. Passion. This is something you have a passion for. Why wouldn't you pour into it if you have a passion for it? And why would you give up on something you're so passionate about? That's not fair to you, pile 2. And that's what your dragon animal spirit is trying to tell you. Like, you have a right to go towards what you're passionate about. Because abundance is coming. Oh my lordy, lordy, lord. This is such a beautiful message. I'm so excited for you, pile number 2. Let's take a look at your dragon that came through. I'm going to read this from the book and see what they say. We have Asclepius here with number 18. Okay. Let's see. What does Asclepius say here? Look at this. Asclepius was a healer of great repute in his time. And this dragon in particular reminds us that inside us too are great healers. The dragon, Asclepius, has particular connections with practitioners who use healing plants. There are herbalism, essential oils, homeopathy, and flower essences. He also connects with all animal healers, including vets, and to this, his rather shamanic energy and his connection to snake, he is a very powerful ally. All in all, Asclepius is a dragon of the healer and the shaman. If he has stepped into your spread today, it is to remind you that you can call upon his powerful energy, and together you have an immense combination of transmutation and transformation. Accepting that your journey on earth is about life and death and rebirth as we grow and blossom personally and spiritually. He has this to say: you are on the cusp of a transformation. Allow me to guide you forwards along the winding road. Remember, holding on to what you know to be true, for it is your journey and yours alone. Life never stands still. It is forever changing and evolving. And together, we can transmute that which binds you. Yes, so this is something that has bound you for a long time. And look at this, he's part purple and part green. And we're talking about all this purple energy coming in on your reading all towards the end. And then you have the green from the abundance here. And it's just reminding you to root this in with the passion and the red, to root this into this physical realm. We have to trust the guidance we're receiving from our higher selves and from the divine, and to let our hearts be the guide in our journey, in our life, as well as rooting that here in this physical realm. It is coming for you, pile number 2. The main thing here, though, is to let go of the fear that's been holding you back, okay? This is an incredible message, and this is what I see here for you. If you felt like this was your message, leave the little fire emoji with the purple circle down below and say, trust the guidance I'm receiving. More importantly, I trust my intuition and higher self to lead me towards the abundance that will manifest into this physical realm. I am on my way. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description box. It has everything you need, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member here on the channel. And with that, I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit animals, your ancestors, your angels, source, and my spirit guides for coming through and giving us this message. And a special shout out to your spirit dragon animal coming through, your animal dragon spirit for coming through. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and leave this here and get on out of here. But until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow humans. If you were drawn to this beautiful piece of tiger's eye, or if you were drawn to this dice with the south node on it, or if you're drawn to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be a reading on your dragon spirit animal is trying to tell you something. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of the journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and space with you. And for anybody that is new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. Should these messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And also, if you are truly new here, we do things differently on this channel, so I suggest strapping in, hanging on, and you and I are going to find out together. With that being said, let's hop to it and find out. Dragon spirit animal pile number 2. What is the something you've been trying to tell them? Dragon animal spirit of pile number 3. My bad. Pile number 3. What have you been trying to tell them? Dragon spirit animal from pile number 3. What is the something you've been trying to tell them for pile number 3? Okay, so we've got the 6th house, we've got the moon, and we've got Aquarius energy. So this could have to do with work, co-workers, small animals in your life. This is also pointing towards health and daily routines. Something here about the emotional taxation of it is what I'm hearing. So maybe there, and you know, when I say that in regards to like small animals, maybe you have a small animal that is sick at home and it's taxing you a lot, because there's a lot of worry with that. There's a lot of just fear and not knowing what's next. But I also feel like this could be like at work, people that are taxing your energy, or it is just taxing on your energy right now because you've been worrying about the outcome or worrying if things are going to go your way and not knowing what's next. This could be your daily routine. So like, you know, setting up a routine and knowing these are the things that I want to get done in the day. These are the workouts that I want to do, but how is that overall going to affect me in the long run? And right now, the message that your dragon spirit animal has been trying to get to you is to be detached from the outcome, right? In other words, it's just saying, this is what I know I need to do. I'm going to show up. I'm going to do that every day, but I'm not going to worry about what's coming next, which is so much easier said than done. I completely know. I completely understand. And yes, I completely agree. But what they're saying is that it is important for you to understand what emotional upsets that you're going through. Spend time healing those parts of yourself. So like, if worry's coming up, what does that stem from? Where is that coming from? And what emotion is that bringing through for you? And when you spend time with that, you can go through it, right? Or if it's like worrying about losing weight, what are you worried about? Why are you fearing that your routine is not going to help you out in the long run? And if it's answers like, because it never has, right? That's your emotional ego. Right? That's your emotional ego coming through. Like, why should we even bother? It's never worked out for us. If it's coworkers, why should we bother showing up every day and doing what we need to do? Because never in our lives have our coworkers ever held their own. But see, that's the illusion. It's you trying to carry the weight of everything on your shoulders while not letting the process unfold. and your dragon spirit animal is saying, like, it's time for you to let the process unfold, pile number 3, and sit with the emotions that are arising. And nurturing yourself is very vital at this time because you're experiencing a lot. I do feel like for some of you, there's a massive fear of not having success at the things that you want to have success at. But I'm also feeling a heavy energy of depression. You could have very well fought periods of depression throughout your life and throughout periods of even this journey. And it's just, the depression has definitely won at times, and it's going to. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. But there's also mention here, maybe possibly connecting with someone who can help, a licensed professional. It is okay to seek help. It is okay to get outside views on situations. And, you know, if you watched all of the other piles and you're like, well, that's not what you said on the other piles. You said to trust your intuition. Look, we can trust our intuition to a point, but sometimes the emotional ego has such a control on us, or such a heavy burden on us, that we cannot trust ourselves. And so we have to find help to navigate those emotions and those fears and those worries and those old patterns. And there is nothing wrong with that. I myself have gone to therapy and it was such a blessing. Even though at the time I was so scared, I was afraid people were going to think I'm crazy. Like, why are you in therapy? Like, you're the happiest person in the world. You don't need to go to therapy. But no one knew my story. And rarely do people know my story. I do share bits and pieces of it here with you because I want you to know that it's okay. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to do things that you otherwise wouldn't have done. But back then, I didn't share my story with anybody. And I had certain pieces of stories picked out that I would share, and that was it. And those are the same stories I would share over and over again because it kept me from sharing the deeper part of myself, the things that I was scared that made me feel like I didn't belong. And part of that was that I was having difficulty dealing with emotional wounds from my parents, from my grandparents that were passed down to me. And when I went to therapy, she showed me that I was a woman who loved too much. And what that means is, like, it's another way to say a people pleaser, right? And that I would put up with anything and everything if it meant that I could have this idea of love in my life. And it took a long time for me to understand what that was, what that meant. Okay, but I feel like for you, pile 3, there's this knowing that is coming where it's like, I think that maybe I'm not the only one that can do this by myself, and not feeling like that's wrong, and not feeling like that's bad. Okay, and I'm really getting that here with, interestingly enough, I'm getting that here with the Aquarius and the moon together, because I feel like when the emotions start to soar, you're holding on for dear life and not knowing how to let go. And they're taking you for a wild ride, and it's really overwhelming, and it comes up in day-to-day situations, and that's okay. That's going to happen in life. You're not weird, okay? You're not alone. You're not weird. You're not the only one who's going through that. In fact, if you're here watching this and you're already feeling like this is resonating, just leave a number 3 down below in the comments so other pile number 3s know they're not alone. Sometimes it just helps knowing we've got other people who are experiencing similar situations to us. Like, we're not weird, and we're not, right? But I feel like being unattached to the outcome, and with that, so they're showing me here is that when a bout of depression hits, the only thing that you become attached to is when it's going to be over. And that's understandable too, because it's heavy. Depression is not a fun situation to go through. And I'm so tired of hearing people tell other people, like, what do you have to be depressed about? And I know I said that earlier, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just so tired of people saying that, because you don't know what a person's been through. And even if what they've been through doesn't seem like something that you would be depressed about, that doesn't give anybody the right to judge whether or not that's going to cause depression in another person's life. And I feel like maybe that's something that you've experienced, is people judging you for having depression, or teasing you because of being depressed, or saying that you've had depression or that you do deal with depression. And I just want you to know that like, it's not a person's place to say whether or not you should be depressed about something in your life. Okay? Depression is its own monster, if you will. And I feel like here it really is saying that part of your day-to-day routine needs to be focusing on your mental well-being, pile 3. Wow, this is already a really deep message. And I feel like for your dragon animal spirit to get to you, it's been really hard because there's moments of really high highs, but they're almost immediately followed by really low lows. And so there's just, like I said, there's this hanging on to this wild roller coaster ride. And so they're giving you the messages when you're at your really high highs, but then if it's immediately followed by a really low low, that suddenly, you know, it's like the guidance really doesn't mean that much at that time because it's only what you're feeling in the physical. And they're saying here that I feel like it's necessary for you to get maybe a licensed opinion or assistance with that. And maybe when you're feeling really good and they give you that message, you're feeling so good that it's like, man, why do I need that? I don't need that kind of help. But then when you're feeling really low, it's just like not being able to get yourself out. I feel like there's just learning different modalities of helping you heal. And maybe that's something you're working towards, is connecting with someone to help you heal different ways on your journey. And they want you to go even deeper, okay? I know we were talking about animals, routines, and coworkers, and then went off on this tangent on depression. I feel like all of that is playing a part in regards to your depression. There's a lot of triggers it feels like you're going through right now. Wow. So, dragon spirit animal, pile number 3. What is this something you've been trying to tell them? What more would you like to say? Yeah, I keep hearing that song. I'm at an all-time low, 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 low. Like, I don't remember who sings it. I know it's kind of a dubstep song, but it's yeah, I'm at an all-time low. I think it's all-time low is the name of the song. Yeah, we've got the moon out again. Yeah, this is mirroring a mother wound coming through here. And all of these triggers are coming up right now to help purge your subconscious. But I feel like there's just so many things all at once. And it's very overwhelming. And they're trying to help you find some sort of stability within the chaos. But because it's very emotional, it's been difficult finding footing for you along your journey. And so with the moon coming out twice on your reading, we see here that it's been very, very emotional for you here. And they want you to know that you're not alone. And they want you to know that there are options available for you. But you're feeling like there's not, right? And it's interesting is with the Emperor here, it's very like independent energy. I feel like I have to carry this by myself. And I'm so sure that I have to carry this by myself. And I'm so sure that I'm the only one that can get myself through it, which isn't wrong. It's actually pretty accurate. You're the only one that can get you through it. But it doesn't mean that you have to carry the burden alone. And I feel like with the 3 of coins here in the reverse, it's just showing like you've had situations that haven't panned out for you. And it's just, I got to do this by myself now. And that could be a business sense with the coworker energy coming in. It could be with, you know, taking care of your animal. Maybe you can only rely on you to take care of your animal. But overall, your dragon spirit animal is trying to remind you that, yes, you're in a very independent place, and that's incredible, but you don't have to do it alone. And that could be just relying on your spiritual guidance even more, but bringing yourself into a space of silence, especially when the emotions are running high. Can you bring yourself into a space of silence? Let's see. Wow. Yeah, we've got the death in reverse, or what you know as the death. The 13 or nameless card in this deck. We've got the 9 of swords in the reverse. Wow. And we have the 7 of wands also in the reverse. There's like, honestly, I just heard like a cathartic feeling here. I don't know why that's coming through, but we're going to go with it. There's also this energy of being catatonic, and unable to move, unable to go beyond this situation, and affecting you in a lot of different places on the body. You could be having arm pain, hip pain, back pain, shoulder pain, foot pain. You could be having hand pains, tooth pains, head pains, headaches, migraines, heart palpitations. I heard rusty knees. Does someone call their knees rusty? That's a random, that was really rare. Someone calls their knees rusties. I just got a confirmation about that. Okay. So there's this energy though that's coming in where it's like, I'm unable to move when this is happening. I'm unable, my body is taking a toll. My body is dealing with it. And usually when we're dealing with body pains and aches and issues, it's because the soul is at unrest. It's not at rest. And so it's manifesting in the physical to help us begin to heal on a spiritual level. But we see this here with the Nine of Swords in the middle of your reading, that it's been difficult for you to recognize the red flags that your spirit is sending you, that your dragon spirit animal is sending you, that source is sending you, that even your higher self is sending you. And so you're getting caught up in these situations that aren't panning out. This could be going back and dealing with coworkers when it should just be maybe leaving them alone to their own devices, or maybe trying to carry the whole load on your shoulders when really you just got to show up for your part and let everyone else take the fall for how they're showing up. Or maybe it's your routines. You're trying to say it has to do with your weight, and instead of just focusing on one thing that you know helps and makes you feel better, you're focusing on 12 different things. It's like, oh, well, I'm going to go walk. I'm going to go jump rope. I'm going to go and run. I'm going to go and box. I'm going to go and do all these things, but you're taking up so much time to do it. And it's just really overworking your body. And they're saying there needs to be some sort of balancing situation here, because this is very unbalanced for you right now. And yet it's because you're so attached to an outcome here. It's because you're wanting things to play out exactly as you see them in your mind, which is not a bad thing. But when you're holding on to that and you're not able to let Source do magic on the other side of things, then we're showing Source that we're afraid we're not going to get what we asked for, or we're not going to be able to manifest what it is that we want in our lives. And so there's this allowing it to unravel in a way that is going to help you purge your subconscious energy, but also being unattached so that it's not such a heavy burden anymore. Like if you're constantly just in the way of work, like if you're dealing with coworkers and you're picking up everybody else's slack, then they're going to continue to slack off, because they're going to be like, oh, well, pile 3 is going to take care of it for me. Like, I don't have to worry about it, right? Rather than saying, this is what my job description entails. These are my daily tasks. This is my daily duty. And I'm going to finish my daily duty, and I'm going to make sure I have my little sheet checked off at the end of the day. So that way when the bosses come and say, well, why isn't all this other stuff done? Be like, well, this is what I completed, because this is what was on my to-do list. And if you're like, I can't do that because their projects will affect me, then you need to find a way to get more encouragement from yourself and go to the next level. Maybe you have to go and talk to the boss. Like, look, if I don't carry everybody's workload, it doesn't get done. I can't do this anymore. Right? Maybe talking to a therapist is going to help you see it's not yours to carry, even if it is going to affect your workload, as long as you're showing up and doing what you need to be doing. Maybe it's not the right position for you. Maybe you need to ask for something else, right? So, and only you can discern that on your journey, because it's going to be different for everyone. But the thing is here is that it feels like it's easier just to take on the workload. It's easier to take on everything by yourself, rather than ask for assistance. And they're saying here that you have an opportunity to ask for assistance, but that's also one of the things that's getting purged from your subconscious, is this fear of asking, or the fear of maybe rejection. Maybe you're afraid of getting rejected by people when you ask for help, Or maybe you're afraid because you felt like you've always had to do it, and you asking for help has just ended in a botched collaboration. And they're saying that that's not the case. You're already getting so far on your journey that now is the time to look for someone that you can trust and rely on to be a part of this journey with you further. And that's why they're saying therapy is the number one thing that's coming through here. Because I feel like more than anything, pile number 3, you need someone to talk to about what you're experiencing day to day that is not emotionally involved with what you're experiencing, so that they can give you a pathway to helping you also see the situation from outside of the box. It's very difficult when we're emotionally connected to something to see it from an outsider's view. But if someone helps give us those tools, it helps us to be able to experience something new in that situation. We have Uranus coming out, flipping out of the deck with radically change. Yes, there needs to be a change in direction here for yourself, for your own well-being. And we've got water here. Look, again, intuition coming through. Spirituality, emotion, intuition, and compassion. Okay, so your emotions are really the blueprint for you right now. And I feel like they're just incredibly overwhelming. You're experiencing a lot, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just feel like I need to keep iterating, like you're not a super sensitive person and that you need to get over it. You are sensitive, but that's okay. Like, it's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to be tapped in and feeling these things that you're feeling. That's okay. But I feel like you're feeling them and you have no one to talk to about it. And then you're bottling it all up, and then you're trying to shoulder it all. And your dragon spirit animal is trying to tell you that's not at all how it was supposed to be designed, but it's something that you become so comfortable with. To relinquish some of that control feels very, it feels uncomfortable. It just feels very uncomfortable. Yeah, Libra, balance. We're trying to balance this out. Consideration, fairness, and harmony. Trying to bring harmony back into your life. The scales are unbalanced right now, but partially the reason why the scales are unbalanced is because of a resistance to ask for or seek assistance. Okay, sometimes we do have control over the situation, but we're trying to convince ourselves that we don't, because we think that it's completely outside of our control, or the only thing that we can control is doing it all by ourselves. And I can't make this up. We've got so much lunar energy here. The silver lunar dragon bathes you in divine feminine light. Before we even read the bottom of the card here, I want to talk about this for just a second, because the moon energy is talking about the divine feminine light, right? The divine feminine energy. To be empowered in our divine feminine means the ability to sit back and receive. Receive help. Receive blessings. Receive assistance. Receive advice. To receive. Okay? And I'm gonna take this a step further, and I'm not trying to make this an R-rated video by any means, but let's think about the idea of the phallic and the yoni, right? So the phallic is meant to enter the yoni. The yoni is meant to receive the phallic. So you think about this, it's that energy of receiving everything, okay? So that's the divine feminine energy. Again, I'm not trying to make this a dirty reading, because it's not, but that's what they're showing me here, is that it's time for you to come into this place of receptivity, which is water energy as well. But remembering that even if you're a man, or even if you identify with the divine masculine here, it's fine. It's just, this is a period for you to come into a receiving energy where you're going to receive much more than you put forward. And sometimes that's hard, because I feel like for you, Pile 3, you've always been in go mode. And it's like, if people weren't picking up their side of what they needed to do, you picked it up for them. And it's been like that your whole life. And to relinquish that might be a huge challenge for you, and that's why you might need someone to help you do that. That might be the first step in helping you to let go, is getting assistance from a therapist or someone you can talk to. It says, come into balance. and practice peace, harmony, and cooperation. Expand your causal chakra. And the causal chakra is right behind your occiput. It's where the skull meets the neck, or where the skull meets the spine, the occiput. And it sits about 6 inches outside of our body. And our goal is to heal that and bring it into our body, the causal chakra, which takes time, patience, energy, effort, you know, receptivity, a lot of receptivity, but also just a lot of healing the divine side of yourself, the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And so we've got the orange gold dragon from Arcturus, opens you to the knowledge for the new golden age. Carry the energy of the future. Be a guiding light. And for those of you that know, on the journey right now, we are in the process of breaking down the toxic masculine within society and coming into a feminine energy. And this may be affecting you on a much greater level than you might have realized. And that might be difficult because you've been comfortable being in the masculine energy for so long. Look at that, Michael and Solas Dea. So we have, you can do it. Do not give up. Follow the path of your wildest dreams. And in order for us to follow that, we also have to be open to receiving. Okay, let's find out some more here. Okay, Dragon Spirit Animal, what more would you like to tell pile number 3? Thank you. And as always, if you watched all 3 piles, leave a purple heart down below. That's my Purple Heart Club. That's for those of you that spend all 3 readings with me. I really do appreciate you. I know what that means. And even if you don't, that's all right. I appreciate you being here right now. So look, we have abundance. I am a limitless being, and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. So manifesting abundance right now, I feel like you're waiting and waiting and waiting for your abundance to come in. But it may be this process of waiting and not believing that things are going to pan out for you. Or that, okay, well, if Source isn't going to meet me halfway, then I guess I'm just going to have to keep working the system so that I can get my manifestation, because it just seems like all I'm doing is waiting. So you're trying to take on far more than what's yours to take on. Like, we have second house here. Know what really matters. And this also talks about our self-worth, financial stability, manifesting and attracting abundance to us, right? So what really matters to you? And don't tell me it's just money, because it's not. I feel like right now, maybe freedom from this energy would probably be something that matters more than anything right now. Right? But freedom for yourself is huge here. On the bottom, we have square, which is, this is a challenging situation. It's a mountain to climb. We have turn a corner. Right? Turn the corner. You don't see what's up ahead, but it's time for you to turn a corner. Stop traveling in the same direction. Try something new, right? The square energy is very challenging. It's a mountain to climb. It's hard to get through. It's hard to overcome. But it also brings with it valuable lessons. So this just feels like a very difficult situation. Wow, you got a whole bunch of these. I'm going to go ahead and take them, just so we can kind of understand the emotional aspect of this reading. On the bottom, look at that. We've got anxiety. Yeah, this does not surprise me at all that this is coming through. Right? And we see that determination. It's like a mountain to climb. We've got this mountain here with the sun behind it. And that's the thing. It's like you're a very determined person, but you're also driven a lot by your anxiety. So this would be like, maybe you are, I don't know, you work for a company and you need money. Okay, everybody needs money. But say you're the one that picks up all the overtime and you end up working 80 hours a week and you get all this overtime and you're like, no, I need that overtime. I can't go back to working 40 hours a week. Like, I need that overtime. But you're exhausted. And it's like, okay, so say you don't go back to working 40 hours a week just so that you can rest. I mean, getting 40 hours back in your week is a huge deal. Right? So say you go back and you take that 40 hours, you rest, and you feel better about where you're at, and you feel everything, but it's not going to hurt you as much as you think it's going to. But there's this mentality right now that's coming through. It's like, no, I have to have those 80 hours a week. Otherwise, I'm not going to survive. then the next question becomes is, are you living outside of your means? And even in asking this question, we can ask, are you living outside of your emotional means? Are you living outside of your physical means? Are you living outside of your spiritual means? These are things that you can ask yourself to help bring yourself back into balance. But maybe you need someone to help you see the situation from outside of the box so you're not so emotionally attached to it. And getting someone you trust, like that's the thing. Like if it's a therapist, great. If it's a friend, great. But it has to be someone you trust enough to tell the situation to, and then also be open enough to receiving that guidance. Look, Lao Tzu and Sunshine. Be careful with your words. With some, you can harm yourself. So speak with love and positivity. Allow your words and your smile to be your adornments. And number 6, we have 15 here. That's 6. And that's all about resolution, solution, balance, harmony, seeing yourself with eyes of unconditional love. Forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. So this could be you holding on to some kind of hurt and pain and suffering from the past. And that's why you're choosing to work so hard or carry so many burdens, because it keeps you from feeling your emotions. Okay, and the main thing here for you, pile 3, is to really sit with these emotions so you can go through it. Because no matter how hard you work, one day your body is literally going to give out and tell you to stop. And if you don't listen, it's going to make you stop by getting sick, by getting exhausted, so exhausted you can't get out of bed, by dealing with all these other things. And then you're going to have to go through this, and it's going to be really difficult to go through that stuff at that time, because it's just going to come flooding in, rather than taking time and space now to work on it little by little. Okay? Libra, find your balance. You could be a Libra. We had Libra on the bottom of the deck over here. So Libra coming out twice in this reading. That's very telling here. It's finding balance, resolution, harmony, consideration of yourself in this journey. Let's find out what the emotions are. Look, we've got pain coming out. It's been a painful situation, or there's been a lot of painful situations. We're talking about depression. Okay? Focus on creativity, and sometimes you might have to show up to this situation with a creative mindset. But there's a lot of anger at play here. Forgiving yourself. You are not a robot. Okay, you are a human being. You are not meant to do 1,000 miles an hour every day. That is not that's not our makeup. That's not our design. We were never expected to do that. We put that expectation on ourselves, and then we think that something's wrong with us when we can't maintain that. Well, we can't maintain that because we're not designed to maintain that, right? So forgiveness of self is key here for you, pile number 3. And surrender. Yeah. This is powerful, coming into this place, surrendering to the process and knowing that you're exactly where you need to be at this moment. And taking charge of what you can take charge of. That doesn't mean carrying everybody else's burdens. That means you take care of you and what you can take care of, okay? Let's take a look at this card. We're going to read this from the book. We have Crystal with number 2. Finding clarity here. Purifying your energy as well. It's definitely something that's lingering, and I feel like this is an old wound that's lingering here. That keeps, every time you feel the pain or you feel the anger of it, it's like, I'm just going to do everything in my power not to feel it anymore. And again, that comes back with depression. Maybe it's the depression that's coming through. And you're like, I'm going to do everything in my power so I don't feel depression, that anxiety, that fear, that worry. It says this beautiful and peaceful dragon's role as a galactic dragon is to support all children and adults on the autistic spectrum. So you could be autistic. That might be why it's hard for you to see it as anything other than your responsibility as well. Okay? It says, and has a special affinity with the crystal and indigo children. So also anybody of the crystal and indigo generations. She fully understands the complexities that can accompany both children and adults and is here to support them and their families fully. She urges us to explore the richness of talent in whatever area works for you and them. This could be numbers, sport, art, music or pottery, for example. Anything that allows the mind to unleash and creatively flow. The classroom, with its restraints and rules of quiet and concentration, often don't work for these naturally inquisitive, artistic souls. If she has swooped into your cards today, she encourages you to add color, vibrancy, or shape to your life. In any way you are drawn to, she asks, how have you become too rigid in your thinking, expectations, or outlook on life? Allow yourself to loosen up. Shake your shoulders, dance, and move to the rhythm of your life. Let it flow. Our life rarely flows along a straight route. It always is full of twists and turns. She goes on to say, push your comfort boundaries and explore what you are truly capable of, and together we will fly. If we think about the indigo children particularly, we see they challenge our every move on earth. Why, as adults, do we do a job we hate or stay with a partner we can't communicate with, for example, if it makes us so very unhappy? Crystal encourages us to follow our dreams and our joy. Yes, I love this message for you. So Crystal, your dragon coming in here reminding you to insert joy back into your life, which sometimes it's easy to get lost in the chaos and the constant flow, or rush, I should say, the constant rush of life that's going on. But really the main thing here, pile number 3, is for you to forgive yourself and to remember that you are allowed to make space and have space for yourself on the journey, and you don't have to carry everybody else's burdens, which might be easier said than done, but continuing to remind yourself of that will give you that opening for it to begin to unravel and for it to one day become a reality in your life, okay? So I love you so much. I'm honored to be able to get to do this reading for you. Here's a big energetic hug for you because you're doing an amazing job. Everything will be okay. You're getting there. It's just a slow process, and that's all right, okay? So if you felt like this was your message, leave a little diamond emoji down below and say, I choose to release my rigid thinking and forgive myself and let myself start to flow into life so I can shine like the diamond I am. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you're to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, check the description box. It has everything you need, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member here on the channel. With that, I do want to take a quick second to thank your guide, your spirit messengers, your angel source, my spirit guides, and a special shout out to your dragon spirit animal for coming through today on this reading. And until next time, pile number 3, stay human. Bye.